Ever just stop right in the middle of reading an article and ask yourself, wait, why did I actually choose to read this exact publication today? I mean, we consume so much media all the time, but we rarely step back to look at the hidden psychology behind our everyday reading habits. Why are we pulled towards certain outlets while completely ignoring others? Well, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the exact mechanics of reader attraction and response, and we're using a really fascinating case study to do it, The Observer. We are going to look at the academic framework that explains our choices and how our own personal identities shape the news we consume. Okay, let's dive into this.
Here is our roadmap to uncovering that hidden psychology. First, the uses and gratifications theory. Then, the 4 pillars of appeal. Next, active versus passive audiences. And finally, the factors influencing audience response.
Section 1. The uses and gratifications.
So, the uses and gratifications theory. What's absolutely brilliant about this is how it completely flips our understanding of media consumption on its head. Instead of asking what the media does to the audience, this theory asks, what do we, the audience, do with the media? It focuses entirely on the elements that make a product attractive or interesting in the first place. You see, we aren't just empty vessels. We actively seek out specific media to satisfy very specific needs. So just reflect for a second on your own habits. When you open a news app or grab a paper, what gratification are you actually looking for? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go.
Section 2. 4 pillars of appeal. According to our source material, there are 4 main reasons, or pillars, that explain why readers are psychologically pulled to The Observer. We've got personal identity, information, entertainment, and social interaction. We're going to break down each one of these right now.
First up is personal identity. Reading this publication is fundamentally a statement about who you are. The very act of choosing it signals that the reader considers themselves educated, liberal, culturally aware, and highly engaged with the world. And here's a really fascinating nuance. You don't even need to agree with every single opinion piece. Even if a reader vehemently disagrees with a specific hot take, they are there because they broadly align with the underlying values the paper stands for. It's like the media we choose is a mirror reflecting our own identity right back to us.
Pillar number 2 is information. Readers use this outlet to find out what is literally happening in the world across politics, culture, sport, and society. But you know, it's not just about getting breaking news alerts. This taps into the deeply human need to go way beyond just skimming headlines. People want in-depth reporting to truly grasp the complexities of current events. They want the full context, not just the sound bites.
All right, the third pillar is entertainment. Because let's be real, you can't just consume hard, serious news 24/7. It is totally exhausting. We also have a psychological need for enjoyment. The Observer provides this through its reviews, the food magazine, sports pages, recipes, lifestyle pieces, and humor. It's the perfect contrast to that heavy political reporting, giving readers a much-needed mental break. It's the whole shebang for a well-rounded Sunday experience.
And the fourth pillar is social interaction. Media doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? The articles here give readers things to talk about. Whether that's at dinner parties or around the office, it provides vital conversation starters. But on a deeper level, consuming this helps people feel like they're part of a shared culture. It connects them to this broader community of like-minded folks, which satisfies a really deeply rooted human need for belonging.
Section 3. Active versus passive audiences.
This brings us to audience response, which is simply defined as how different people react to or interpret a media product. And this is a massive next step, because 2 people can read the exact same article and have wildly different psychological and behavioral reactions to it.
We generally categorize these behaviors into 2 camps, active and passive audiences. Think of the highly energetic, visible engagement of active audiences. These are the people loudly commenting on social media, actively sharing pieces to spark debate, or even physically showing up to events like the book club or the news meeting. They are truly active participants. Now contrast that directly against the quiet, solitary consumption of passive audiences. This is someone who buys that Sunday print paper, sits down and reads it cover to cover, absorbing absolutely everything but never once commenting. Or maybe it's the digital reader who silently scrolls online, taking it all in without ever hitting the share button. Both are completely valid ways to read, but the actual behavior? Night and day.
Section 4. Factors influencing audience response.
And this brilliantly illustrates how audiences are absolutely not a monolith. Let's look at how politics, age, and values change the reaction. Because we don't all respond the same way, a politically right-wing reader might look at coverage of Brexit or immigration and find it highly frustrating or biased. But a politically left-wing reader will look at that exact same text and interpret it as totally fair and balanced. We aren't saying who is right or wrong here. We're just objectively observing that political framing dictates the response. Then there's age. A younger reader on Instagram is going to interact with a climate change post radically differently than an older reader engaging with the physical newspaper. And finally, values. If you agree with the core values of an article, your identity is reinforced. Disagree, and you might feel challenged or completely alienated.
So, the crucial point is captured perfectly right here. A reader who agrees with the observer's values will feel their identity reinforced. A reader who disagrees may feel challenged or alienated. That really sums up the massive impact alignment has on our psychology. When the media aligns with our internal compass, it makes us feel secure. When it doesn't, it creates friction.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to think about regarding your own news habits. Think about your absolute favorite publication. Are you an active participant in your media, sparking conversations and sharing ideas? Or are you a passive consumer, just quietly absorbing the world from the sidelines? Understanding not just what you read, but exactly how and why you read it is the first real step to becoming a truly media literate citizen. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the media you consume.